So, couple things. My mother does not listen to hip-hop music. She is in her early 60s right now, and ever since she heard about hip-hop, she hadn't listened to it at all. She wasn't too invested in the genre or the medium. But I remember there was this one time, I was like 8 years old, around 2003. I was going to run errands with my mother and my aunt. They were having a conversation about Diddy. Somebody had mentioned that Diddy was a businessman. My mom and my aunt were talking, and they said that while his business accomplishments were commendable, there was something very, very sinister about him. I remember my mom so clearly saying that there are people who say that when you look into his eyes, it's almost like you're looking at the devil himself. And again, this is coming from a woman. My mother does not listen to hip hop. She's not in that space. She doesn't listen to that type of music. Way before allegations started to arise, Kim Porter, she just knew through the grapevine that this man was not a good guy. So I guess that puts into perspective how off-put a lot of people were about Diddy and his evolution and career. So without further ado, let's get into more details, and welcome to my channel. Hi, hello guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Exis and this is my channel, Exis Does. How is it going? What it do? What it be? What's good? As I discussed in the intro, we are going to be talking about the weird phenomenon that is going on in Hollywood. And we're doing that with honorary Squishmallow Sonic the Hedgehog. Gotta go fast, bitch. I think this might be a good time to start my Squishmallow collection or a plushie collection so that I have a plethora of stuffed animals to pick from. Some that could be more on brand to what I'm talking about in each video. I might do that, I might not, I'm not sure. All I know is that the select few that I have, I do enjoy and I do like. I like the consistency of having like a fellow, like an accessory to hold on to while I ponder on my thoughts about what is going on in the world and what I decide to commentate on. For those of you who don't know what I do on this channel, again, it is somewhere in between what it do, commentary, and my best. And today we are commentating on the Diddy allegations, and not just the Diddy allegations. Today we are commenting on what the heck is going on with Hollywood. Like, Hollywood is in shambles this year. A lot of people like to say that 2024 is the age of Aquarius for Hollywood. Sure, if you're spiritual, I guess. I just call it the Hollywood's good old comeuppance. People are broke. People don't have money. Money isn't circulating like that anymore. And obviously, when there isn't enough money circulating around, the people who are known to protect you, that get paid a nice healthy paycheck to do so, are now going to start speaking. They're now going to start talking, and they're now going to start spilling their truth. And that's what we're currently in right now. That people want their money. People are broke. People are tired. People are looking for more. People are tired of the plethora of flex culture that has been able to infiltrate social media, internet, and celeb culture for the past few decades or so. And I think we're finally at a breaking point where we have to kind of stop, reset, reanalyze, and think about the things that we look up to, the things we align or stand for, and especially how we treat celebrities in Hollywood and just celebrity culture in general. And so I think the best way to start this video to kind of start with like what has been going on for the past few months and what has been going on for a while in regards to celebrity culture. More specifically, Cat Williams sitting up here talking to Shannon Sharp about how the comedy circle and the black spaces within the comedy circle aren't what they seem. They're very much so a boys club, and they are very exclusatory, and they also do a lot of shit behind the scenes in order to give certain individuals aspects. I think he accused Kevin Hart of being an industry plant and not being that funny. And then I also think he mentioned how a bunch of other black comedians have been a part of this Illuminati agenda or whatever. And We'll get to the conversation about the Illuminati and the sinister spiritual stuff going on in Hollywood later in this video. We're not going to get there yet. We're going to talk about that because I think there's something interesting to be said there. Along with Cat Williams talking to Shannon Sharpe about the behind the scenes of the industry and not being so entirely what it seems. We've seen other Hollywood moguls such as Oprah Winfrey, Taraji P. Henson accusing Oprah Winfrey of not paying Taraji her worth on the Color Purple musical and all the backlash that has came from that, where Taraji P. Henson mentions that she wasn't getting paid enough to film the movie, and she also noticed a lot of mistreatment from the cast, anywhere between them not getting private transportation to and from the set, them not being fed while on the set, or just kind of exposing the underbelly of what it means to be Black excellence, along with Viola Davis mentioning that she still, to this day, despite all of her commendable achievements and accolades, has not been getting paid her worth either. I think Gabrielle Union spoke about that as well. Then we got Quiet on Set. Now, I personally cannot speak too much on Quiet on Set because I haven't seen the whole documentary. I don't have Max right now. I think at one point I will get Max, but right now I don't have it, so I can't talk too much about what is going on there. But based off of the summaries and the reviews I've seen, a lot of information is being exposed about Dan Schneider and how he has been running the Nickelodeon shows that he was producing with the company. A lot of former child stars are coming out and speaking about their experiences, some of the cast of all that. Drake Bell notoriously has been also speaking about this situation as well on the set of some of those shows. Some mention about Amanda Bynes as well, and just all like the sexual innuendos that were going on in these kid shows that made us all feel quite uncomfortable the older we got, even all the way down to like Victorious and what was going on there with Ariana Grande. And then even like social media icons that we've seen that have really been taken off through celebrity culture and media. Like for example, the Kardashians are not that big anymore. They just aren't. Don't know that Kim is dating Odell Beckham. Anybody in the chat, in the comments, know about Kim dating Odell? Like nobody cares, you know? Again, I think this is this idea that everybody is tired of celebrity and Hollywood culture. There's like not a lot of work in Hollywood at this moment. We even see it with like these big blockbuster movies that came out in the past couple of years and them just not doing too well in general. Of course, the number one thing that we're all collectively here for that I brought up in the intro, Diddy and the activity that's been going on with him in regards to Cassie coming out and claiming to have all these allegations against him and his company and suing him for the mistreatment that she faced. And so we're gonna get into the meat and potatoes, but I really like to start off this video by saying collectively, I think as an audience and as the individual watching all of this go on, even celebrities themselves, like, are tired of celebrity culture. Like we sit up here, we see these people on Hollywood and you know, it's like, wow, they get all this attention, they get all these accolades, they get all of this good press, but then you realize that behind the scenes, they're still broke, they're not getting paid enough, they're overspending, they're probably living paycheck to paycheck. And it's just honestly one of those things where, you know, we might be seeing, if not the demise of Hollywood, a significant cultural shift where it might not have as much impact as it used to. I've mentioned this before. Hollywood is competing with social media. Social media is its number one competitor. Our attention span as humans is elsewhere. American media is competing with an app from China, like just keeping it a buck, whatever the heck is going on Twitch with these Twitch streamers who are able to cultivate strong audiences that are loyal to them and develop very parasocial fan bases. And then cable is single-handedly fighting tooth and nail for the attention of individuals that are now on YouTube. And YouTube is taking up so much space in, you know, just traditional entertainment. Why watch your favorite show on cable television and have to endure all the commercials when you can either watch streaming or watch your favorite commentator react to the show that you were interested in watching? People, I think, now are looking for more connection and they're looking for more authenticity. Though I don't think the authenticity is necessarily what they want. I do think that people want a version of authenticity that feels comfortable to them, but I don't think they want individuals to truly be authentic. And that's a whole nother conversation that I have discussed on this channel. Yeah, I think we're just seeing a cultural shift in Hollywood. I think we're also just seeing a shift in attention spans and who we, the people, are giving our attention to. We are no longer giving our attention to Hollywood and the entertainment industry. We are giving our attention to social media more, and we are looking for the creativity and the inspiration and the connection to those on social media. I would even argue that a lot of movies and television shows have become very, very redundant and very uninteresting and unthoughtful. I think when the Marvel franchise finally reached its like demise with Ant-Man Quantumania, I think that's when we started to kind of see that Hollywood movies aren't just good. They're not as good as they used to be anymore. And like these big blockbusters aren't really doing it for us. You know what I mean? The Diddy situation is what really started this kind of dismantling of Hollywood. And this Diddy situation actually did not start until late 2023, so it didn't even start in the year 2024. It started in late 2023, and like I said, in Black and hip hop spaces, we all knew that Diddy wasn't. Like, we all just collectively realized that Diddy wasn't it. There was something weird about him going on. I didn't even know that Diddy was dating Cassie. I didn't even know what happened to Cassie. Like, I just remember her doing
me and you now. I've been waiting. Think I'm gonna make a move. Baby, tell me if I can. Tell me how you like.
Like, I just remember that part of Cassie. And then after that, I remember she did a song with Nicki Minaj. That was actually a banger. And then after that, I just never heard from her. Like, I did not know that she was dating Diddy. I didn't know where she was. I remember in 2013, she shaved the side of her head, and then everybody was shaving the side of her head. And that was it. That was the end game, right? I didn't know that if she was making music. But basically, a lot of the allegations start with Diddy being sued by Cassie, his ex-girlfriend of 10 years, saying that Diddy had essayed her, trafficked her, used her, and coming forward and suing him for a set amount of money at the hands of abuse from his company and corporation. If you read the affidavit, it does start, should I say allegedly? I don't think so. It's in the affidavit. It does start with her talking about her experience being with Diddy and how she started off as a model and was like in her late teens, and she got discovered by Diddy. It first started as a professional relationship and later moved into a romantic relationship, even though this man was like over half her age, which she was incredibly uncomfortable with. It goes into gruesome detail about how he forced himself on her, and then even more details about some of the things that were required of her, some of the things that she had to do to be in the relationship with Diddy. It also talks about more or less her having to participate in freak off. If y'all don't know what freak offs are, they are parties, explicit sex parties with a lot of DRUGSs. And Cassie was asked and coerced, allegedly, into sleeping with a plethora of individuals in these freak off, a plethora of men, as per Diddy's command. And she was fed DRUGSs during these freak off parties. When she finally did escape the grasp of Diddy, he sent his team to go and stalk her, to bring her back to him. She faced a ton of abuse at the hands of Diddy, physically assaulting her in front of a bunch of high profile individuals who unfortunately did not do anything about the situation, though I'm gonna be completely honest with you, I'm really not surprised. Wealthy people have a tendency to protect themselves, you know? People who worked under Diddy, which is very, very ironic. I believe in the affidavit, people who worked for Diddy also mentioned their disdain of seeing such a young woman be abused by this powerful man, and them just kind of cleaning up the mess afterwards. Stories about Diddy following Cassie into a hotel, abusing her, paying off the hotel for the camera footage of him abusing her so that he doesn't get accused of doing anything. Like, I don't know if y'all remember this, but like in the late 2010s where he was like just filming Cassie and she was like under a blanket, even stuff like that where he was just being so forceful and filming her. I think looking back, there was just something going on with Diddy and unfortunately Cassie that we just weren't really seeing or looking at in hindsight. Even down to Cassie finally escaping this man. This man isn't loyal to her. He's out here smashing and dashing whoever, having all types of freak offs with whomever and whatever. Cassie's moving on and she's dating Kid Cudi, and then Kid Cudi's car blows up for some reason. Cassie separates herself from him. He sends his team to go find her, to send her back into that cycle of abuse. And just the amount of control this man had over this poor woman, and the way he was able to control her life, that even if she didn't date him, she had a contract agreement that she signed where she owed this man 10 albums over the course of 10 years, which is already a very, very predatory record deal. That him, you know, having control over her everyday life, how she wore her nails, how she wore her hair, telling her to do certain things and she do them. People look at this lifestyle and think, oh, to be the arm candy of Diddy, to be one of Diddy's, you know, side pieces, just to see what they go through is so unfortunate. Prior to Diddy being with Cassie, he was married to Kim Porter, which I believe was his girlfriend or wife. I'm not sure. I'll put it down here. He basically gave Kim Porter the same treatment that he gave Cassie, unfortunately, abusing her nonstop, isolating her, keeping her away from family or support system. But it mysteriously came out sometime in 2018, around 2018, that she had passed away. Mysterious circumstances. People claim that her cause of death was ruled as lobar pneumonia. That doesn't sound true. Kim Porter was going to release a tell-all book about Diddy and about the things that he was engaged with and some of the things that he did, and we couldn't have had that. A lot of his other comrades around him that he had slighted also were threatening to come out with tell-all information about Diddy as well, and some of them were ending up in comas or ended up silenced or threatened in some way, shape, or form. So yeah, that was unfortunate. All unraveled in like December of 2023. But then we move into March of 2024, okay? And this is where Lil Rod, his producer for the Brother Love album or whatever album that he was doing, I heard that album was really good, but no one's gonna listen to it now. Imagine coming out with a dope album only for all of your transgressions and all of your criminal activity to be brought to light. Like, oh my God. Lil Rod comes out, explains that he produced the album and goes into gruesome detail about some of the things that Diddy had done, how he had shot somebody in the stomach, allegedly, maybe not allegedly, even like referencing some of the individuals who were involved in a lot of these freak off parties. You know, they said that it was a popular R&B singer from the 90s, Usher. There was also a popular R&B singer that had formerly abused another pop star, an R&B pop star, Chris Brown, and a rapper who used to date a very prominent rapper named Nicki Minaj, Meek Mill, and how they were also involved in the freak offs. That I don't really have too much to say. Like, I don't know. Like, here's the thing. If it's a bunch of dudes just being gay together, and like what do you want me to? It's 2024. I could care less if Meek Mill likes to suck some peen here and there. Like, I could care less, you know? It is what it is. It's not uncommon. But the amount of homophobia that's going on behind the scenes about this conversation, that's really sending me, because it's totally missing the fact that a lot of these people were probably not in their right mind, since there were a lot of DRUGSs going around in these freak off parties. It also shows that a lot of individuals would rather focus on the fact that these powerful individuals in hip hop, these moguls in hip hop, are doing gay activities, and therefore they deserve to be emasculated, and therefore focusing on that outside of the blatant abuse that they've done. It's just a very weird phenomenon to me. I don't know. I just find it strange. Lil Rod also accuses Diddy of a plethora of other problematic things, and also even brings up Young Miami and how Young Miami was kind of in cahoots with a lot of the stuff that was going on. He mentioned how Young Miami was basically a sex worker. Hi, how are you? Sorry, y'all, I had the maintenance man come in. But I forgot to add that Diddy's house also got raided. That's kind of a big deal, that they went into his house and raided it. And not only did they raid his house, but they also arrested his kids first and foremost. I don't know if the daughters were there. I hope the daughters weren't there. But they arrested his kids, the older kids who probably knew what was up. And then they also arrested a lot of the staff that was around there too. They were checking in his home for a bunch of, you know, paraphernalia or documents of all sorts or videos. A lot of people think that they were finding these documents and videos and whatnot that were meant to threaten and blackmail people. So we'll have to see. They definitely raided Diddy's house past couple of weeks. And it's very interesting. I wonder what other stuff we're gonna see about Diddy. I think that's the nail on the coffin. And, oh, I also forgot, Diddy fled the scene. He fled the scene, abandoned his kid, abandoned his daughters, and he took his private jet off to Antigua. Yeah, crazy stuff. Anyway, Young Miami and I think Daphne Joy and a few other women, it had came out that basically they were Diddy's sex worker, which, nothing against sex work at all. Like, me of all people. I am very much so pro sex work. However, apparently Young Miami was responsible for allegedly finding women to partake in sexual activities with Diddy. She was also a DRUG mule for Diddy, transporting over a DRUG called Tucky or Tunchi. I keep thinking of Lil Wayne. Tunchi. It's basically a mixture of this, and it's a pink color. And I guess you snort it, and that's what she was transferring over for a Diddy, because he wanted a hit or whatever. And it also just kind of came out that like she had her cousin in on this. Her cousin was over here offering to give fellatio or head to the producer and some of the other people who were in the studio and who were working on this album with Diddy. There was just like a lot of stuff going on. And Diddy aside, just to talk about Young Miami for a second. Young Miami is a perfect example of city girling too close to the sun, okay? She's a great example of that. This is what happens when you city girl a little too hard, city girl a little too intense, and then you end up in a situation like this. Because if these allegations are true and they come out as true and Diddy is charged, I mean, we already saw it with his that white boy, the DRUG mule for him, who was transferring over a lot of the DRUGS's that Diddy had and his weapons. If Diddy gets caught and his whole crime organization gets taken down, Young Miami's going with him. Like, she is gonna be up under the jail, probably to make an example out of her. And that's unfortunate, but I think there's a lesson there that if you are going to partake in city girl activities, know your limits, know your boundaries, and don't be a dumb, okay? Don't be stupid, all right? Have a support system, have a way out. Listen to the friends that are telling you, hey girl, this might not be your ministry, don't do this, like, because then you're gonna end up like Young Miami, where you might potentially be convicted with some criminal activities. I don't even think she thought that what she was doing was an iteration of trafficking or an iteration of being a DRUG mule or a mule of illegal paraphernalia. I don't even think she thought that, but that's what it ends up being. It's not as gritty as, here's this bag of stuff, I need you to take this to my homeboy around the block. No, it's like this big glamorous, you have this bag of Tucci, I guess, and you're on a private jet, you're delivering this bag of Tucci to Diddy, right? And you're just like, oh, well, you know, maybe it's just some money he wants, or I mean, you don't even know what's in that bag. You don't even know what it is. You don't even know if it's legal. And that could happen so easily. Or even like a bunch of men who just are interested in you and they're asking you, hey, do you know a couple of girls who'd want to come over to this trip, who'd want to go on this yacht party with me? Can you bring them over? Like, that in a sense can be a form of trafficking if things go awry or if things go wrong. Like, I think we need to be more aware of the manipulation and coercion that happens behind the scenes with a lot of these things that go on. And I think if we're gonna talk about like being a city girl and whatever, do what you do, but my thing is that you got to be smart about what you're doing. You got to understand what you're getting yourself into. You got to make sure that you're taking care of yourself and you're not engaging in activity that can get you charged with something with Young Miami basically being accused of doing all these bad things for Diddy and being in his orbit. You see the other city girl, JT, just kind of flourishing. Like, people are really into her. JT and Young Miami were a part of the rap group called the City Girls, and they would rap about this stuff all the time. They would rap about scamming, scheming, and seducing, and, you know, I don't work jobs, bitch, I am a job, da, 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 you know what I mean? And so it's almost poetic that Young Miami would kind of get into a situation like this. She got in too deep, and inevitably, it came to her demise. This unfortunately could be her downfall, you know what I mean? Apparently she was getting paid $250,000 a month by Diddy to just be his sex worker, and she even admitted it on live television, which I don't understand why you would admit that publicly, but basically was like, yeah, I'm a whore, which already, yikes. However they take that in court, that might work against her, right? And $250K a month is a lot of money. Young Miami is going down this route and the entertainment industry. And then you see JT on the other hand, and she's going the exact opposite. Maybe because she's already been to jail and she's already experienced that life, but you just see her doing like small set venues to tour her music, touring in clubs. People are cackling at her because she's starting off small again when she was a part of this prominent rap group called the City Girls. But I don't think people understand that, like, just the whole entire fact that Young Miami's demise is coming methodically in real time as we are speaking. JT automatically looks like the better city girl. She's already about to have a very nasty and wicked come up just from that alone. Because if anything, Young Miami was out here city girling too close to the sun, getting involved with uber wealthy people, uber wealthy individuals, powerful people that she had really no business being a part of, not working on herself, not starting from the ground up and building a brand for herself, but latching onto some success no matter what she had to do to get there, no matter what she had to sacrifice to get there, right? But JT is literally starting from the ground up again. While this is all coming out, there are some interesting theories that I have in regards to what this means for the future. One of the biggest theories I do have is that if Diddy goes down, the sinister underbelly of the world of hip hop, where there is DRUGs in rotation, there are illegal weapons in rotation, there is money laundering and all of that. That whole system and whomever is connected to it is going down, and it is going to be nasty. And I do believe Jay-Z is the one to come up next with a lot of allegations. What does that mean for Beyonce? I don't know. All I know is that I hope she has her ducks in a row so she can separate herself from that. And I most certainly hope she's not involved in any of that activity at all. And I'm gonna leave it at that until I see more inklings of what's going on there. But I will say that you do not get to be that close to a powerful individual without knowing about some tidbits going on behind the scenes. That's all I'm gonna say. All right, moving on. I gotta go to the bathroom. Another theory I have is this idea that if we get rid of all of the poisonous figures in hip hop, the ones who are kind of like a cancer to the entertainment industry, to the hip hop industry, to the music industry, we'll be able to usher in a new generation of talent, which means we'll be able to usher in a new generation of leaders who won't practice same bad activities that the generation before them did. They'll learn their lesson. And like, that's wishful thinking to think that there's like this utopia of successful individuals who are actively out here not trying to exploit and abuse individuals in order to keep their status and power and whatnot. You know, that's ideal in an ideal world. Not to sound too nihilistic, but in the real world, we know that's not what happens. Just because they're clearing out the garbage now of the trash individuals, the Dan Schneiders, the Harvey Weinsteins, the Diddys, and whomever else is around them, doesn't mean that there isn't going to be a new set of individuals who aren't going to do the same thing. Just because those people have been exposed and taken down and shamed and excommunicated from the industry doesn't mean that there won't be a new generation of people with the same amount of power who won't do the same thing. As a matter of fact, I believe that if a new generation of people have or hold this power, they might just do something similar. You don't get access to this power, access to these resources, without exploiting some individuals, getting involved in some questionable behavior, allowing some sort of abuse to happen, happen or turning a blind eye to whatever abuse or exploitation is happening. You just don't do that. That really does worry me. We think that all good is going to happen once we get rid of all the problematic individuals, but in actuality, good isn't going to happen. What's either going to happen is that Hollywood might just be seen as a joke. People won't take it as seriously anymore. I'm not really surprised. A lot of the movies and shows that have come out are not that good. People will just put all their attention into social media and invest more and more into social media. Maybe we might see more celebrities do the shift from Hollywood into doing more online internet activities, starting podcasts, vlogs, whatever, I don't know, to maintain some sort of relevancy. But then also you have to have the question of, okay, if Hollywood's a joke and people don't take it as seriously, and maybe social media is the more influential entertainment out now in American culture or in Western culture, and we're also reaching this threshold of there is not enough censorship on the internet. Minors have access to almost anything and there's no regulation for it. If the internet is regulated, what does that mean for us, the common people who want access to that knowledge? But also, what does that mean for the content creators, the individuals that make a lot of money showing their face, creating on the internet? What does that mean for them when we reach a point where there is heavy censorship and then the censorship comes with some version of gatekeeping? Would it be a far-fetched idea to predict that the same bullshit that we've seen in Hollywood and the entertainment industry now could trickle down into this very new, innovative industry of content creation? We all look at XQC and he gets paid the same amount as LeBron James to stream on Kick. He's basically getting paid like $23 million to stream on Kick with like a five or a 6-year contract or whatever. And that's amazing, like good for him. But also, what does that mean for the content he creates and how he creates the content? And what happens if he doesn't want to create that type of content anymore? You know what I mean? What happens when we get more and more people offered these big payment opportunities where they get paid X amount of money to be on a platform and be supported on a platform? What does that mean for the type of content they make or the type of content they can or can't make? And then what does that also mean for like individuals who are trying to break into the content creative space? What does that mean for them? Will they be able to do so as easily, or will they have to go through a lot of hurdles? And will those hurdles be similar to that of a casting couch in Hollywood? I don't know. Maybe I'm reaching, maybe I'm looking too far into it, looking too far into the future, but I do think about like, okay, if Hollywood is seen as a joke, if people don't take Hollywood seriously, if the entertainment industry in Hollywood is crumbling right before our very eyes, if movies aren't doing as successful as they used to anymore, if television shows aren't doing as successful as they used to anymore, if music is crumbling, and our new version of entertainment is through social media and content creation, what's stopping content creation from being just as of an industry as Hollywood is? Are we as humans capable of learning our lesson of not exploiting people, treating them with integrity, treating them with kindness? Is that possible for us to do? Are we capable of doing that? Personally, I don't think so. I know that sounds super negative. I think we're all very selfish individuals that worry about ourselves and worry that we're secure, and thinking that if we're secure, we can give back in some way, shape, or form, when in actuality, we should probably make sure everybody's good first, right? Like, I don't know. Another theory I have, which I've mentioned before, is this could potentially be like the biggest downfall of hip hop as we speak. And this could mean a lot for the industry if crumbling and clearing out of the problematic people, especially in the music industry, has a lot more players. If all these other people who are associated with this type of activity with the hip hop industry in the 90s, where Diddy was on the come up, if this all come out, what does that mean for the future state of hip hop? Who gets access to hip hop? Who's allowed to be in the space of hip hop? And who is running hip hop? Because right now, the hip hop industry, as I've seen it, is horrendously. It is on. I feel like with us not having proper media literacy, and also not wanting to actually pay attention to music in the way we do anymore. Also, us not being given eras or bodies of work anymore when it comes to music. I think that all three of those things will definitely impact how we take in music in the future, but more specifically, I think for hip hop, you know, I don't know what's gonna happen with the industry in the next few years. Hopefully it's still like it has a revival of some sort. Hopefully some really talented individuals like Kendrick and J. Cole can still make good music and hold down the fort. And then the female rappers are doing an amazing job. A lot of the complaints I've seen about the hip hop industry right now is that there is a lot less variety. A lot of people sound the same. For example, if you were to put Yeet, Gunna, I don't know, they both sound the same, and you wouldn't be able to tell the difference between the two. And I think that has a lot to say about like music and where it's going right now, and how there's just not a lot of originality, especially people having a harsh disdain towards artists like Ice Spice, or having like such a harsh reaction, because it almost feels like the concept of the industry plan 2024 isn't being hidden as well as it was in maybe like 2004 and maybe in like 1994. It took us a while to realize that J-Lo really, her whole career was fabricated and fake. It took us like maybe like a good 2 decades to realize that. But with like, you know, access of technology and research and all of that, we can easily debunk that. Like Ice Spice, Saweetie, any other proxy female rapper who's trying to push this image that they're not, we can already like debunk like, oh, this is giving industry plan. You know what I mean? I don't know. That's how I feel. I'm really concerned about that as well. Like, will people be able to take hip hop seriously if we're just letting anybody in the booth? There's no discretion anymore with hip hop. So yeah, that's also very interesting to me as well. With all that being said, I want to end this on a very interesting takeaway and a final thought. And this has to do with like the idea of the media and entertainment that's out right now, especially with alternative news, kind of jumping onto this idea of like conspiracy theories with spirituality and like, you know, subgroups like the Illuminati being talked about and whatnot, and people, you know, like, what is it called, 4K Ultra or K Ultra Beta Angel, I don't know. Basically the conspiracy theory side of the internet, the side of the internet that is more than likely going to try and twist and manipulate everything into some crazy conspiracy theory without actually like looking at what's going on. Okay, I need everybody to understand that with all of this stuff coming out about Hollywood, I don't think we really need to sit up here and take this as a super sensational, spiritual, Illuminati confirmed conspiracy theorist plot that is happening right now. I don't think we need to do that. I think when we start sensationalizing things that are so clearly bad, so clearly exploitative, so clearly evil, we hop over the fact that if you just like look at what's going on, stop looking in the dark web, stop looking on these weird discords, stop looking at what your favorite online medium said during a tarot card reading, and just like actually just like look at like what is going on, you'll find that the evil is right in front of your eyes. Pizzagate, for example, or there's an underground bunker with a bunch of celebrities eating baby intestines. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have to do all that. Like, it's already bad that it's came out that someone like a Diddy has been exploiting, assaulting, and abusing people for a majority of his life, even though we knew it to be true. Someone like a Harvey Weinstein was out here forcing these women to do things they did not want to do for certain types of roles. Someone like a Dan Schneider is out here forcing these kids to do things that they don't want to do for these types of roles, while also silencing the parents that spoke out against that and blacklisting these kids in the process who want a chance in the entertainment industry. Like, that should just be bad enough. So sick and tired of the conspiracy theories behind all of this. I'm so sick and tired of the, like, when Cat Williams was sitting up here telling Shannon Sharp, I didn't want to wear a dress, I didn't want to be emasculated, that's what they do to black men, they have us all wear dresses. No, who is out here having y'all wear dresses? Realistically, it's a joke rooted in defeminizing black women, if you want to go there, but like outside of that, it's nothing more or less than that. They're not trying to humiliate you, they're not trying to emasculate you or make you put on a show or do a humiliation ritual or any of that stuff. I do think that the censorship on the internet will probably start with these alternative news medias. And what I mean by that is I think that a lot of the censorship will require these alternative news sources to either close down or stop spreading misinformation. If I hear that Beyonce is a witch one more time, one more time. What if she's just talented? Why do y'all have to go there so hard? Why can't y'all just accept that the truth is right in front of your eyes? Like, it's right there. The evil is right there. Justin Bieber, there's some, I don't care what anybody says, something happened to that guy. Something happened to that guy when he was a kid, and that's why he's all effed up right now. Amanda Bynes, something happened to her when she was a kid, and that's why she's all effed up right now. Drake Bell even came out about stuff that happened to him when he was a kid, and why he is where he is at right now. There was nothing about like baby legs and eating blood in an underground bunker while sacrificing a goat and singing satanic hymns. Like, it's not that. It's just that there are people in power doing and awful things. And when you start like cleaning the glasses, clearing out the fog, really the evil is in front of you. You don't need to sit up here and jump to leaps and bounds trying to listen to these, mediums, tarot card readers, content creators who probably low-key have some sort of insight on what's going on behind the scenes anyway, thinking, oh, they're right. Oh, the spiritual practices they do, they're right. I'm not here to offend or insult anybody's spiritual practice. What you believe in is what you believe in. But can we just for a second sit back and understand that the sinister behavior that is happening in front of our very eyes isn't anything bigger than the conspiracy theories that we've been hearing throughout the years, that it really is just awful people being awful and terrible with money and power, that it really isn't your favorite singer just might be a witch because the lighting or their stadium world tour was a certain way, was red or yellow or whatever weird colors you want to align being demonic with. Like, can we just stop doing that? I'm getting tired of these buzzwords like demonic and satanic and all of these other buzzwords that are coming out. I think it's coming from this new age version of evangelical Christianity. Sure, like that's just as harmful. I don't think you have to do all that. I think if you just open your eyes and look and just see what's going on, that's crazy enough for us. There was this funny TikTok, I'll put it in here because it's really funny. It's basically this dude who is talking, like playing a skit, and he's talking about how people are equating what happened in Baltimore, Maryland with the bridge collapse to what's going on with Diddy and like black people. Instead of it being like this huge conspiracy theory as a distraction from what's going on with Diddy and maybe Diddy allegedly having his team behind it or whomever having his team behind it, why can't it just be that the American infrastructure that we have put in place right now sucks?
Okay, hey guys, Editing X's here. So a couple of things I want to talk about. I know that the Baltimore, Maryland bridge, the reason why it collapsed wasn't because of bad infrastructure, but because a ship actually crashed into the bridge. That's what I meant to say, but in general, I think we could still talk about how America's infrastructure sucks. So I just want to put that disclaimer out there. All right, back to the video.
And there's not enough people working on these bridges, working on these highways, these freeways, these railroads. And this is a prime example of what happens when you just don't take care of your infrastructure. And that this is a byproduct of America putting their eggs in the wrong baskets and not worrying about the safety of the American people. Why can't it just be that? Why does it have to be like, this is a distraction from Diddy? Obviously it isn't, because after a week after that whole Maryland bridge collapse, we were right back to Diddy. Also, another thing before I leave, why do we have to do this thing with black affluent folk when they do trifling things, problematic things, questionable things? The first thing we want to go to, oh, it's just like them bringing the black person down, bringing them down. It's just like, no, it's not. Your fave was a shitbag. They need to go. They are not meant for this anymore. They can't do this anymore. They've exploited too many people. They've hurt too many people. They don't deserve this space anymore. Oh, but what about the white people? What about Harvey? And they were able to get away with it. Like, oh, I don't understand. Who cares about them? They're not supposed to get away with it either. But we're talking about this right now. All right? Like, yikes. The protection and the leaps and bounds individuals will go to defend their faves that don't even know them like that has been known to do problematic shit, is insane to me. Like, can we stop? In 2024, can we stop with the conspiracy theories, and can we stop defending problematic people? Like, just stop. Just, no, we're not doing it. with everything that's going on, let me know in the comments how y'all feel about a lot of the stuff that's going on in Hollywood. What are your predictions in the future for Hollywood? If you think that Hollywood can have a come up, if you think that the next generation of Hollywood isn't going to move in the way that its predecessors did, or do you think that this is the end for Hollywood and we should move on? How do y'all feel about the state of hip hop right now? Do you think that hip hop will be able to come back from this? I know Diddy hasn't been making music like that, and his Brother Love album isn't gonna do well because of what so obviously is going on right now. Thank you so much for watching my video. Do not forget to drink some water. And I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. Goodbye.